I don't know where in the world you are today, but chances are if you're in Europe or North America, it's probably pretty cold, a bit dark, a bit gloomy. But many of you might be thinking about moving. And one of the countries that everyone is asking me about, and I don't feel qualified to talk about, is Ghana. Luckily, today on the line, I have someone who is not only passionate about Ghana, but has actually made the move to Ghana with her family, nonetheless. So it's a pleasure to have Naomi on the line. Hi, Naomi. How are you?
Hey Zoe, I'm great, thank you. How about yourself?
Yeah, not bad at all. And it's such a pleasure to talk to someone who's not only made the move to Ghana, but who has also done it with their family, done it with their kids, because I think so many times as parents, we feel like, oh, should we change our kids' school? Should we change the stability that they're used to, take them away from friends and family? So I'd love to know, for you as a mother, what were some of the considerations that you had to take into have in mind when it came to moving with your kids? Was it an easy choice?
I have to say, and maybe that speaks to my character. Maybe I'm too impulsive, but it was a very, very easy decision to make. I didn't struggle with it. I literally, in July of this year, July of 2021, I'd had enough. And you know how it is, Zoe. We had just come through this pandemic, homeschooling, at home with these kids, trying to make money at the same time, trying to feed them 3 times a day. Like, it was just too much. It was absolutely just too much. And so then when there were these talks and whispers of another variant or another lockdown, I just thought, no. I am not doing this again. I am not going through this again. And when I spoke to my friends and other family members in Ghana, they were like, we're free. We're having the time of our lives. And so I had tickets booked for our family to travel to Ghana for Christmas, as we usually do. So I just called up my travel agent and I said, how much would it be if we were to change our tickets from end of the year to like 4 weeks time? They told me it was about £80. So it was a no-brainer. So I decided, let me book the tickets. If I book it, then at least I can't change my mind. So I booked it. I booked it for August the 23rd. And so within 4 weeks, we were gone. We were off and it was like no turning back. So in terms of some of the things that I needed to think about, I guess the primary consideration was around education. Mm-hmm. I take my hat off to anyone who does the whole homeschooling thing. It's not for me.
No.
Zoe, it's not for me. I can't do it.
No.
It's a strong no. So where the children were going to go to school was the biggest thing. And because I was moving at the end of the summer holidays, in effect, school would be, pretty much around the corner. So that was the primary thing that I had to consider. Thankfully, we have a family home out here in Ghana, so I didn't have to think about where we were going to live because that was already taken care of. The other consideration was around, what's the word? The internet access. Right. That connectivity. You know how it is with these digital kids. If I tell them that the Wi-Fi is not working when we're in the UK, they're ready to cry tears. So I just thought I can't bring them to Ghana and not have that connection sorted out. And also for my work as well, it was really important. But that was primarily it, because I'm able to work remotely from anywhere. Given that Ghana's on the same time zone for much of the year as the UK, there wasn't that much to it. So it was a relatively easy decision. The only obstacle was just checking to see if Mr. Man was okay with me abandoning him and taking the kids and going to Ghana. And because, we've always had Ghana in our plans. And so it was just like, let me just speed up the timeline a bit. And so it's been great.
Yeah, I forgot that part. Yeah, because your partner is Ghanaian, right? Or he's of Ghanaian heritage.
Yes, he is, but he hasn't been coming back like how I've been coming. So he would tell you that he's more Ghanaian than me. And I guess, literally speaking, he actually is correct. Both his mother and his father are from Ghana, but he just hasn't been coming back and forth the way that I have been. So he doesn't know Ghana like how I know Ghana. So that was the only sort of sticking point, and where it could have all collapsed and fallen apart, is if he said, no, he thinks it's a terrible idea, then I wouldn't have gone.
Right. And I think that's really interesting as well, because despite both of you having like similar heritage or having a familial link to Ghana, for him, he hadn't been there as much as you had. So I know you said, okay, this year is when the stuff hit the fans. You're like, no, I need to get out. But I'm imagining in trips before that, was there stuff that you were scoping out? Like, how did you put things in place so that when you did make the move, you weren't like doing everything from scratch? Was there research that you did? Were there networks that you started to build? How did you put it all together?
Great question. So I've been coming back and forth to Ghana for quite a few years now. I can't tell you exactly how many years, but I think things changed for me on the trip that I took back in 2015. And that was the year that my grandfather, so my dad's dad, passed away. And my dad was telling me a story about when, on one of the trips to the hospital before my granddad passed away, that they were talking, and my granddad said to my dad, Emmanuel, we've done this thing all wrong. We work almost every day that God sends, every hour that God sends. We retire and then we die. This is not life. This is just not it. And for my granddad, in his 80s, to come to that realization in literally the last weeks of his life, even talking about it now is giving me goosebumps, because I'm just thinking that can't be my story. And so that's really where the inspiration came to do what it is that I want to do before time is up. A couple of weeks before my granddad passed, in fact, all my life that I've known my granddad, he's always been going back home. He's come to Ghana on holiday. He's built homes out here. So he's got property out here. He's happiest when I ring him and he's in Ghana. My granddad sounds full of life, energetic, happy. When I ring him and he's in Ladbroke Grove in West London, it's a dreary old man. And so we were like, go, granddad, go. You're happiest there, go. And he was always going, but never actually made it. And I remember a couple of weeks, literally before he died, he sat down with me at his house in Ladbroke Grove, and he said, Naomi, I think I'm ready to go now. I think I'm ready to go. Can you help me look for a flight? And we hadn't explained the full extent of how short of a time he had left. And so I was like, all right, sure, granddad, I'll help you look for a flight. In fact, I'll even come with you, granddad, I'll come with you. And he never made it. So that's always been playing in my mind, that one day it is going to be too late. Yeah. And so as going back on different trips, I would be going to different events, connecting with different people, building my professional network. When was the year of return? 2019, I think year of return was. And I always stress, I wasn't going to Ghana for year of return. I was going to Ghana because that's just what we do. So I went that year, and that was a really pivotal year in my plans, because I was able to meet with other people who were on the same journey and who wanted to make the move also. And I remember I went to an event, a TEDx event, and I sat next to a lady came and sat next to me, and we just started talking, and she was like, she moved to Ghana however many years ago, now she's been in Ghana for 8 years. She moved when she was on maternity leave, and it was the maternity pay that she used to sustain her. And I just thought, wow. And she was the same age as me. Right. And, she had a family. I just thought, well, if you can do it, why can't I? So it was at that event I started making some, building my professional network and getting to know other people who had just made the move, who were thinking about it, or, who had made it a long time ago. And so there was bubbling in the background for years, which is why, although I guess it seemed impulsive for me to say in 2021, within 4 weeks, I'm gone, I guess there was quite a bit of groundwork. But again, I often speak to the privilege that we have in terms of already having accommodation, because that's the most challenging hurdle for people to get across, I think, when making the transition. Where am I going to live and how am I going to make money? Yeah. Once you've got those two sorted, you're pretty good. And again, my dad built a house here, so that wasn't a problem. My granddad has properties, that wasn't going to be a problem. And then when it came to generating an income, that's probably the most terrifying part. That's what kept me in the UK for as long as I was, even though I wanted to go in 2015. The pandemic, working remotely, that becoming more popular. and more commonly accepted made me realize I've got a window of opportunity to make a leap, and I just went for it. So yeah, those were some of to be honest with you, Zoe, I've talked so much, I can't even remember the question, but I hope that does answer it.
You answered all of it. You answered all of it. And to be honest, a lot of what you said, like the resources that are available in Ghana, the network, the business support, that's a large part of the reason why I just haven't covered Ghana, because it just feels so efficient. It feels so focused on finding ways to bring people back, engaging the diaspora, like how fantastic the year of return looked. It just feels like there's so much set up to encourage people back, and also to support them to start businesses, to encourage entrepreneurship. But that kind of vibrancy, it's no wonder that it attracts people. But now that you're there, the difference between going for a scouting trip or going to stay with friends and family, you're like 4 months in, 3 months in. What are some of the key differences that you're noticing? How does it feel different? What are the challenges perhaps that you're coming across that you may not have anticipated before?
Oh, challenges that I didn't anticipate. That's a tough question. What didn't I anticipate? Sorry?
Maybe there aren't any. Maybe it's all plain sailing.
Well, no. Please, I tell everyone this. This place, Ghana, I love Ghana, but this place will stress you.
Seriously?
This place, what? Now, from I guess from your perspective, everything looking so well organized and so efficient, and people, they did a great job with the year of return. That was brilliant, in terms of encouraging people back. But when you get on the ground and you're here, it's a slightly different experience. Nothing works in the way that it does in the UK, is what I could say. There is very little sense of urgency. Everything is always okay. Tomorrow becomes next week, becomes next month. So there are things that can really, really frustrate you about being here. But the way that I've always looked at it is, there were things that frustrated me in the UK. There are going to be things that frustrate me anywhere in the world that I choose to call home. And so it just seemed like it was better. It was made more sense to fight the challenges here in Ghana, which I can call my own, which no one can tell me this is not my place. No one can tell me go back home. It felt better and made more sense to fight the challenges here rather than fight them in the UK. I will always be grateful for my experience in the UK, but being part of Ghana's growth and its development, yes, of course, there are going to be growing pains. It's going to be frustrating. There are things that do not work here. I'm not trying to paint Ghana as some utopia. It is not. Yeah, it is absolutely not. But being part of the growth and bringing ideas and bringing innovation and just bringing a contribution to Ghana's development just seems like something that's worth the struggle, worth the challenge. So there's been challenges with electricity. There's been challenges with water. Even this very morning, Zoe, my children did not go to school because we had no water this morning. These are some of the things that we, I've never experienced in the UK. And these are not challenges I would expect in the UK. But it's also challenges that I guess I preempted from my numerous trips over the years. And so what we've done is we've put things in place to sort of mitigate those risks and those challenges. So for example, we have something here which people may have heard of, light off, where the power just goes. And so if all of a sudden I disappear, light off. Yeah, they've taken lights. So what we've done is we've put in a system in place in our home, an inverter, which allows our house to then operate from like battery power in effect. Okay. So these massive batteries that will power the main appliances. I won't be able to have the air conditioning on, but like the fan and the fridge and my computer, that will all stay running with no problem. The challenges have been education. The children's schooling was probably the biggest challenge that I faced. Moving them from one system to another, I expected it would be tough, but I probably took it for granted how, I don't know, I didn't give enough thought, I guess, to how they would really transition and what that would really be like, given that they've come from an environment where they know everyone, it's family oriented, to a place where they know no one, they are literally the odd ones out. So that's been the toughest challenge I think that I've had since actually settling here.
Yeah.
That's been the biggest challenge.
Tell me more about that, because I know for me moving to Grenada, education, that was the fundamental thing. Like, yes, it's lovely, but if my kids are going to be worse off educationally here than they would have been in the UK, it would have been a non-starter. So for me, like probably over a period of 7 years, we would like put them in a summer school and to get a sense of what a school was like, and same with my girls as well. So how did you go about finding a school? Because I know that you've got family who are from Ghana, but I guess you know your kids, you have a sense of what's a good fit. So what was the process that you took to locate a good school, and what was it like for the kids adjusting? And advice for anyone else on that same process?
I think the most important thing is, especially when it comes to advice for anyone else, and I think you said it, Zoe, as parents, we know our kids. We know the sorts of environments that our children will thrive in, and we know the sorts of environments that are just not going to be best suited for them. And so trust your instincts is what I would definitely say. If you think that something isn't quite right, there's probably something in it. The original school that I wanted to send my children to, so that lady that I told you I sat next to in the year of return at that event, she ran a school, and we became friends. Our children became friends, and they kept up their relationship over the years. And I wanted my children to go to her school because we were on the same level, same wavelength. Her ethos and her approach and her philosophy around education was very similar to mine. And I thought, yes, this is an environment where my children will be happy and where they will do well. The problem was that where her school was located in comparison to where my dad had built, it was quite a distance.
How far? How long would the commute be?
So in fact, I'm going to look it up right now, because I'm going to tell you something else that's a real challenge in Ghana. The traffic.
Oh no.
Zoe, the traffic here, I can't even begin to, I can't even say how bad the traffic is.
And
but you can arrange your life.
Driving in London, and traffic is bad in London. You're saying it's worse?
Listen, the traffic in Accra, London has got nothing on the traffic in Accra. Let me tell you that. Let me tell you that for free. Nothing. It's ridiculous. So, okay. So where my children go to school, where I wanted them to go to school even, 16 kilometers away. Mm-hmm. It's not that far, right? At the moment, this map tells me that it will take 30 minutes. And if there were no traffic, that would be entirely true. I wouldn't expect it to take any more than 30 minutes, which is fair. Yeah. When I was in the UK, where I lived, to my children's school was about 30 minutes. Let me tell you, Zoe, in the months that I've been here, not one time, not even once, for 1 second has it ever taken 30 minutes to get to the school. At least an hour and a half, 2 hours, 2 hours and a half. Like, it's insane. Honestly, it's just insane. So that's the reason I was put off from taking them. I thought, this is going to be too much for me. How on earth am I going to juggle, working and providing, as well as doing the school run that's so unpredictable in terms of traffic? To eat, one day it could take me an hour, the next day it could take me 2 hours, and there's no way you can predict that. So that was a challenge. So because of that distance, I decided that I would find somewhere closer in the area. And so I was able to identify, with the help of speaking to some of the people that I know that lived around here and what the good schools were, I identified a school that was 15 minutes away from the house. Again, it would take about half an hour, 45 minutes, even up to an hour to get there because of the traffic. I identified that school. I went and sat with the head teacher, met the children's teachers. I was sold. Perfect. This is exactly what they need. It's an international school. They follow the national curriculum. And so I thought, brilliant. But my children did not like it. They hated it, in fact. And it was a very good school academically. Brilliant. I had no problems there, but my ethos, theirs, we clashed too much. And the children, they just didn't really fit in. They weren't making friends. They weren't happy. Every morning, it's almost tears to get them to school. It just wasn't working. I tried it for 6 weeks, and I didn't want them to have a horrible experience and hate school, because my friend, I've got a friend who is half Ghanaian, half Nigerian. She schooled in Nigeria for some time and hated it. And as a result, to this day, she hates Nigeria.
Oh, wow.
She doesn't go back to Nigeria, even for like she doesn't like it. And so I just figured I didn't want my children to associate a negative experience of school with a negative experience of Ghana and hate Ghana. I didn't want that. So my first priority was the children being happy, because it's a lot. I think, yes, children are adaptable and children can, move, but I think sometimes we might take for granted the impact that it can actually have emotionally on this massive change. And so it was so important that I had them in an environment that they would be happy in, first and foremost. So we decided, you know what, even though it's long and it could take us 2 hours, we're going to that other school.
Wow.
That's the sacrifice that was made. It meant that I had to hire in help. So at the moment, I do have a lady who lives with us, who helps me with the children. She's a godsend. She's amazing with them. So really, I don't need to cook. I don't really need to clean. I don't do the school run.
Crying with envy.
She takes care of all of it. So she drops into school in the morning, with a taxi. She doesn't drive, so I get a taxi, pay for the taxi to and from the school, and that's how we're making it work.
And are they happier despite the long commutes? They still.
Zoe, my daughter said to me, "Mummy, I would wake up at 4 a.m. every day to go to that school."
Wow.
They are happy. When her name is Hannah. When Auntie Hannah comes to pick them up after school, I tell her to pick them up 1 hour later because they need time to play. And so school finishes at 3 o'clock. She picks them up at 4 o'clock. When she comes at 4 o'clock, she has to fight to get them into the car.
Wow.
They are so happy. They're so happy. And that's everything for me. It really is.
Yeah, 100%. I can't echo that enough. I think your kids' happiness, especially in such a transitional period, is so important. And in a way, as a parent, you spend so much time making sure that they're happy, one, because it's good for them, but also if they're unhappy, that's such a huge weight on your shoulders as well.
Exactly.
So I think finding ways to sort of come to an agreement as to what works as a family, you kind of have to lean into that even more so in a new place than you would have back home, because everything's up for grabs. Everything is in flux. So, but it's great to move after 6 weeks. I think I would have been more like, oh, is it really that bad? Go on. But I guess when you know, right?
That's what it is. And this is what I'm saying. When you know your children, you know the sorts of environments that work for them, you just move. I just thought I don't want to waste any more time with them in an environment that they hate, because I knew that my whole family was coming my dad's side especially, were going to be coming over for Christmas. Mm-hmm. I knew that if they are in an environment that they hate, when it is time for my family to go back, who will be at the airport going with them? Yeah. Those children, they will say they're going back. They're going back home.
Yeah.
So it was important to get that done quickly, get them settled so that they're happy, so that when my parents leave, when my family members leave, it just kind of goes back to business as usual, and they're keen to get back into their routine.
Yeah. So one of the things that you mentioned beforehand when we were talking, you said being in Ghana, Noah can tell you, go back to where you come from. And one of the things I should have mentioned before, you and we're actually cousins, so I know your origins. I know where you're from, but I know that you're not fully Ghanaian. Your dad is Ghanaian, but your mum is from Grenada, and you were born and raised in London. So how are you navigating that experience of like being fully immersed in Ghanaian culture through your dad, but also having a different lived experience? Are you finding that you're hanging out more with expats? Are you finding that you're embraced by Ghanaians? What is that like? Because that's one of the things that I'm still working through in Grenada. You can't fake an accent. Like as soon as you open your mouth, or as soon as they see you walk, they know that you're not quite there. And I think that's something that especially folks who are thinking about moving from the UK or from the US, who might not be native to the country, wonder like, how will I be received? How will I fit in?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think one of the things that people need to think about is the way that you enter the country. And by that, I mean what your attitude is like. If you come off on this tip of, I am from the West, I'm from the US, I'm from the UK, I am better than you all, I'm above you all, listen to me, I know it all, then you are going to be rejected so fast. When I come here, I come, first of all, as a student, I'm coming like to learn. I want my children and I to have this full immersion into this side of our culture. I feel robbed in some ways because my dad did not teach us our language. I'm not happy about that. So I have my children in classes learning their language. And so they love it. So when they hear me speak in Tree, they are like, oh, you're trying. And so they love it. And I think it's so important. Resist the urge to complain or to compare the things that are normal and the way that it goes in the UK to the way that it is here. I try not to do that, at least not out loud anyway. I don't ever want to make them feel less than and try to, make out like I am better than them. Of course, there are going to be some clear advantages, which are, it's evident, it's easy to see. One of them, of course, is going to be in terms of levels of income. The salary, I believe the average salary here in Ghana is about 11 or 12 cedis a day. That is the equivalent, at the moment, 8 cedis is £1.
Wow.
So, you have an idea of how some people are living. Some people are living on, between 300 and 450 cedis per month. My maths is not good, so I'm going to have to get out my calculator to work that out. I should be ashamed, but I'm not.
No, I can't work it out for you, so we're on the same level there.
So I'm looking at 300 cedis is about £37.50. 450 cedis is about £56. So, so of course there are going to be some differences, but one of the things that I try to do, I got this from my friend, a word, localize. I try to localize myself in that I will take the sort of transportation that my neighbors would take. I will, am I the most sociable? I'm a bit of not a recluse, that's going too far. I don't really go out anyway when I'm here. I guess I'm not in holiday mode. I'm in like just living mode. So I'm not really going out to fancy places and fancy restaurants. I will eat local food. And so I think, again, how you enter is, and I'm not living in an expat community. That's the other thing. I don't live in an expat community. So I don't live around many expats at all. My neighbors are Ghanaians, born, bred, been here all their lives. And so, there are a few people in the area who have maybe originally were from Ghana, moved to the UK or to the US and have come back, some returnees. But for the most part, in my immediate circle, in my immediate the vicinity, and I look at my call register, it's people who have been here forever. Of course, I have built up some good relationships with other expats, but we live quite far from them, so we don't connect as much. But we have, we do build we have got some good relationships. So on the whole, I feel like I've been embraced wholly by the Ghanaians. And when they ask, oh, where are you from? Because obviously, as you said, as soon as you open your mouth, as soon as they see you coming, they know that you're not from here. You're not. One of the things is, as soon as you open your mouth, the price probably trebles. That's the truth. The price trebles when you open your mouth. But one of the other things is that I will tell them, okay, yeah, well, I was born in the UK and my dad was born in Ghana. My mom is from Grenada in the Caribbean. But the moment they say that, my dad is from Ghana, they're like, oh, so you're a Ghanaian then. Oh. End of story.
Yeah.
You are a Ghanaian, that's it. And so, yeah, that's been it. I haven't had any challenges in that regard. I have heard some stories about, people being, wholeheartedly rejected in that way, but it hasn't been my experience. We've been fully embraced. And yeah, my children do not go to an international school anymore. They go to, I guess it's halfway in between a local school and a private school. Okay. So there are there's like a charitable arm for children who simply just, their parents cannot afford it. So they are able to be supported and they come into the school, but then there are also parents who do pay fees. And so again, they do follow the national curriculum and it's supplemented with, parts of Ghanaian culture and Ghanaian history, which I love as well. So yeah, I feel like we've got the best of both worlds and we're being embraced. So I'm enjoying that.
And tell me more about the practicalities of moving, because I didn't mention you have a YouTube channel, and I'm going to link to one of your videos that you did just as you were making your move, and I saw the video of the vans arriving and like bikes going in and all that sort of stuff. But the logistics of moving, has it been as smooth as you thought it would be? Is there stuff that you wish that you brought with you? Would you do things differently next time around? What was that like? Because I know it was stressful, and it was stressful for me too, but beyond the stress, tell us about it.
Well, Zoe, if I were to do anything differently, the only thing that I would do is not to do it in 4 weeks. That was madness. That was absolutely, I don't know. You're so desperate. I was so desperate to just get out. I thought, yeah, I can do this. I can do this by myself in 4 weeks. It was hell. It was hell. But in terms of, I made the decision to ship a lot of our things. And when I say a lot of our things, of course, yeah, you saw the bicycles going in, because the bicycles are here. Everyone in this community knows my children riding up and down on their bikes. I can come to my gate and they'll be like, oh yeah, madam, your children, they're down there on their bikes. So we shipped a lot of foodstuffs, like the crisps that the children like, the cereals that the children like. We're vegetarians, so some of the like the meat substitutes that we are maybe not so readily available here. I shipped about 5 or 6 boxes, big boxes, I think, and that was, I'm really glad that we did that. Like, my pantry is full. My dad recently came from the UK and he looked and he's like, oh, you've got a delicatessen in your kitchen here. But that's been really, really helpful in keeping us going. And I think also making the transition smoother. What else did we do? During the pandemic, after the first lockdown, as you know, I made the decision to move my whole family together because I could not go through another lockdown with just me and those kids. It wasn't going to work again. So because of that, I didn't have to empty a house. So my parents are still there in the UK where we lived together. So I didn't have that stress. But there's not much that I would have done differently. I feel like I've got everything here that I need, and things are also quite readily accessible. It's not like you can't get stuff here. For me, it's just maybe I'm a bit lazy. Maybe it's the inconvenience of having to go to the supermarket, go to the mall when I could just stay at home. I like staying at home. So yeah, there's not much that I would have done differently in that regard. It's been in terms of the practicalities of it. It was literally just finding a company that would ship the bicycles and everything else that we were taking. They gave us an amazing service, delivered within, I think it was like 3 weeks. Wow. It got to me here. Brilliant service. Can't complain. Nothing was damaged. It was wonderful. I think we were just really blessed to have such a smooth transition. It's more than I could have asked. It's actually a lot smoother than I expected. I expected drama, and I braced myself for drama, but I didn't get it.
Yeah. And so one of the things that, from my perspective, watching other people who are researching or watching people approach me with questions, is that a lot of people are attracted to West Africa and Ghana in particular because of this sense of entrepreneurship, of thriving, like-minded people, being able to share ideas and actually make stuff happen in ways that probably isn't the case in most Caribbean islands, if we're going to be honest. I know you're very entrepreneurial, but you also work remotely, and you always have different projects on the go. What has your experience so far been like in terms of sounding out opportunities in Ghana, networking with other people who might be doing things? What's the reality like on the ground for someone who wants to move to Ghana and start something? Is it easy? Is it hard? Is it clear where you need to go to in order to make things happen? What's your perception so far?
So Ghana is a place where, I guess because, it's still developing, as you step out of your door, there is opportunity. Like there is, and it's no exaggeration. In fact, that's probably one of the videos that I'm going to do in the coming weeks. Or no, not the coming weeks, after Christmas, definitely, too much. But it's about the different opportunities that are here, because in almost every single sector, there is opportunity. And you can go out for even an hour and you see so many opportunities that, wow, if I did this, then I could be able to make this happen. I could provide this solution to this community of people. And this is a great business opportunity, because that's all business is. It's solving problems and being able to do it at a profit. And so there are opportunities everywhere, to the point where my head spins with different ideas, because I genuinely feel like here, I could do anything. And there is, I don't have to worry about the color of my skin, for example, being a barrier to those opportunities. Yes, of course, there are going to be some challenges and there are going to be some barriers to entry, because I think Ghana is also very much a place around, I guess, depends on where you want to take it. So if you're thinking about like getting government contracts and what have you, it's about who you know. But you can literally turn something out of nothing here. So I have a friend, my same friend who runs this school, her and her husband, they had a shipping container, they put it outside of their house and they converted it into a restaurant. Wow. And they didn't have to get permission from anyone. No one came and told them, have you done this? Have you done that? It wasn't like that. You can just do it. You may have heard that, women here in Ghana, especially in Ghana, are a lot of the driving force when it comes to business. Like you'll see these women who are, whether they're working in the markets, whether they're working up and down the street, selling things on top of their head. Like if you have an idea, you have drive, you're not lazy, you can make anything happen here. I genuinely believe it. I've seen it. I've seen market women be able to put their children through school just by taking their crops that they've sold, that they've what's the word? They've sown it, they've been able to reap, they bring it to the markets, they sell, and with the profits that they make, they put their children through school. I see women on the side of the road with a baby oftentimes strapped to their back, selling fruits. And someone like me, oh, please, can you just give me a pack, cut up the pineapple, cut up the mango, put it in a box for me, and I'll give you, 10 cedis for it, if that's, whatever it may be. And again, they didn't have to ask anyone's permission to do it. They just did it. There is another family, an expat family, who they opened up a fish and chip shop. There are people, authentic fish and chips, like it's London. There are people who are running consultancies about, how to move. There are people doing incredible things here. And it really is, how they talked about America being the land of opportunity. I really feel that that's what, definitely in parts of Africa, I definitely see that, because the potential for growth is just, it's mind-blowing. And so this is the time. This really is the time. So for me, I have not personally started any business in Ghana. I've heard stories of people finding it really unclear about how to navigate that and where to go to if you want to register a business. People lose a lot of money paying this person, paying that person. They think they have to pay this person. They think they have to pay that person. And these people will readily accept the money, even if they can't really help you. It happens, I'm just being honest. But of course, there's going to be good and bad everywhere. But I think, if you do the groundwork, and if you do enough research and you get to know exactly where it is that you're supposed to go, then I think it can happen. For me, I'm still in my learning phase when it comes to Ghana. I'm not trying to storm in with all the solutions. Right, guys, I can get this place whipped into shape. I've been in the West all my life. No, not at all. I have conversations with my taxi drivers. I have conversation with the people that I may sit next to if we're taking public transport going down the road to the supermarket. And I will find out, what does the average Ghanaian need? What are some of your biggest challenges? And it's those sorts of conversations that are so enlightening and give all these different ideas. So I haven't settled on any one thing yet, but maybe we'll do an update when I've got something
Yeah.
in mind and I've actually got something started.
Well, that's the thing. When you told me that you were moving, I was like, Ghana is such the perfect place for you. Someone with drive, ambition, and also not just like self-centered, but something that's going to be of social good. I think it's
Yeah.
just such a perfect setting. And all of that is why I couldn't watch any Ghana relocation videos, because it is so appealing, it is so attractive, and especially for people who want to make stuff happen. It just feels like such a rich environment for people, not just to share ideas, but to make stuff happen. Um,
Yeah.
but maybe at some point in time, there'll be that flow between the Caribbean and Africa, because I think there are so many similarities and so many scopes for us to share knowledge that, yeah, we especially
Absolutely.
women, we
Well,
could benefit
it's
with it.
happening. It's definitely happening. So, for example, I believe, people who have Jamaican passports are able to enter Ghana without even a visa.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. With my British, if I travel on my British passport, I need a visa to enter here. Thankfully, I've got my Ghanaian passport also, so I don't have to worry about that. But if you have a Jamaican passport and you want to come to Ghana, visa-free entry. So I believe those links are being made, and it's encouraging to see, because for example, there is a Caribbean community here in Ghana, which I think is absolutely incredible. And it's a strange place to be almost, because I genuinely feel I've got the best of both worlds in terms of, the Caribbean and in terms of Africa. And so I think that's also why it just feels like home. It's not strange to be walking down the road and to be hearing dancehall, reggae music, blaring from speakers somewhere. It's just normal. So that there is a Jamaican community here. That's growing. So those links are being made, and I look forward to the day when that passage is even open more broadly to other islands in the Caribbean, and that people can make this journey. There are direct flights, and I think that will be brilliant. I think it can only do us good as a people.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Naomi, it's been so exciting talking to you, but also watching you make this journey. And I just love that, again, that image of your grandfather, of not waiting too long, doing it while you can, doing it while you're in the prime of your youth, and also doing it so that your kids can see what it's like to have an idea, to have a vision, and to achieve it, but also to learn about their culture in the process. It's super, super exciting. Absolutely. What advice would you give the other families who are thinking about making the move to Ghana, thinking, oh, is it going to be too much? What advice would you give?
My advice is going to be quite simple. Do not attempt to come to Ghana and survive on savings, unless maybe you're related to someone the likes of, I don't know, Bill Gates, maybe Oprah or something, and you've got that sort of, never-ending pocket. Don't do it, because your money will go here. So ensure that you do have a stable or consistent income. You definitely need. Sort out housing. There are so many people who I've known of who have tried to make the move, and it's fallen apart because they couldn't get decent accommodation at an affordable rate. And so eventually, because the money starts to run dry, they have to go back. So get those things in place first. Know where you're going to be resting your head at night, and make sure you've got an income coming in. I think once you've got that sorted, everything else you can figure it out. In terms of where you choose to be based, you can, people think that Africa, it means it's cheap. There are going to be parts of Accra specifically that are, more expensive than staying in London. It's equally, there's going to be areas where it's really, really cheap to stay. So you have to be clear about what sort of lifestyle it is that you want to lead whilst you're in Ghana. You can, if you had £10 in Ghana, you could have a feast, or you might only be able to afford to get a starter. So you need to just have an idea of what type of life you want to live, and then move accordingly, and understand that so once you have those things sorted out, my advice is just do it. Because you know what? The challenges, they can be overcome. There are people who will be happy to help. The Ghanaians are such helpful people, even helpful to a fault, such helpful people. There's a strong, buzzing expat community here that really embraces people who are making the move, offers that support, offers the guidance that you need. And, you know, I've been able to benefit from their support also. So go for it, do it. We've only got this one life to live. This is not a dress rehearsal. It's not a practice run. This is the real thing. So, you know, do your research. Don't jump into this blindly, thinking that you're just going to blag it or you're going to wing it. Have a plan. And once you've got that plan, execute, go for it. And yeah, give it a try. If it doesn't work, you can always go back. Like, listen, I've got my 2 passports. I've got my British passport. I've got my Ghanaian passport. And I always said, if I do not like it, if it is not working, I will feel no way to get on a plane and go back to the UK. No problem. I would feel no shame. I'd have no problem with it. I'm not tying myself, or I'm not tying my idea of success to being here permanently. No, the fact that I've given it a go, I've tried it. In my head, I'm already a success. I already am. And so I would say to people, don't put that sort of pressure on yourself. Don't put that pressure on yourself that this has to be it forever. No, you can come back. You can visit other places. There are other parts of Africa. So yeah, give it a go. What have you got to lose? That's my best advice.
Awesome. I think you've done such a wonderful job of selling Ghana that people are going to want to, like, how do I know more? Where do I connect? And you do your weekly videos showing the ins and outs of your life there and how you're setting yourself up. If people want to follow you, tell us more about the channel and how they can get in touch with you.
Okay, cool. So my channel is To the Motherland. We're also To the Motherland on Instagram. The children wanted to do TikTok and all these things, but I don't understand this. So we're just on Instagram and we're on YouTube. And my email address is literally tothe2021@gmail.com. But if you at least start off with YouTube. Usually all my contact details are in the descriptions of all the videos. So that's the best place to be able to find us. And I'm documenting everything, not only the good times, but also when I'm pulling my hair out, screaming, that's all in there as well. Again, I'm trying to paint an honest picture so that, again, people are able to walk into this with their eyes wide open and not with rose tinted glasses. I think it's important for people to be able to know the truth and make an informed decision about whether or not this is somewhere that they want to make home, or at least try, at least visit. So yeah, To the Motherland on YouTube, that's how you can find us.
Wonderful, Naomi, thank you so much. And so there you go. You've been asking for West Africa content. Could it have been any more awesome than what Naomi has delivered? I don't think so. And if you think it could be, go check out her video and get even more amazing content. From here on in, we're probably going to stick to the Caribbean stuff, but maybe if you're that interested in Naomi, maybe we could do a live so people can ask you questions. And so
Sure.
if that's something that's of interest, definitely drop me a note in the comments. And yeah, let's see what we can do. But Naomi, it's been amazing talking to you so much. And I am feeling slightly envious that you're in Ghana, but I'm sure I will see you out there sometime soon. Best of luck with whatever comes next, and see you soon.